Well, I just came back from the first live meeting in over a year, the Aesthetic Society meeting in Miami, of course, South Beach. It was amazing. People are back. Everybody was vaccinated. We were safe. We did all the CDC precautions. But let's talk about hot topics. There's so many hot topics now. It's some of the things that I talked about. I talked about 7 different topics at the meeting. Because my goal as an educator is to always give back, go to the higher level, teach the next generation. And of course we learn every day. So some of the hot topics are, the role of a new non-filler called renuva, which is a fat matrix. It's like the matrix. You use fat or cadaver fat matrix and you inject it, and then your own fat comes in like a honeycomb and builds its own fat. Takes 2 or 3 sessions. That's very hot. The use of collagenase to truly correct cellulite. And we do that here every day. We've done all of the studies for renuva, and we have been using Quo, which is the collagenase to correct cellulite, and that's also an amazing hot topic. And also the phenomenal use of advanced Botox for masseter, for shaping, for bruxism, for tooth grinding, all those things, and how to inject it. I taught people how to inject it correctly. All those things are very, very important to do and to learn to do correctly. And then the blending of the new fillers and some of the older fillers that actually work. Blending of radius and sculptor along the mandibular border, jawline. I talked a lot about jawline finesse in the patient that goes from 30 to 50 before they need a facelift. And the amazing role of Morpheus, or radiofrequency skin tightening, and face tight. All of these finesse procedures that require minimal to non-invasive techniques and technology. So this is an exciting time in plastic surgery, even in the era of COVID. So join me as I walk you through so many of these in the upcoming weeks and months ahead. Okay, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's amazing. You want to learn to be the best you can be? Join me. It was fantastic. It's volumizing, lifting, and shaping, and the important role of this mass is unprecedented. And that great surgeons get great results no matter what they do. But it's all dependent upon how you analyze the face and then what you do to shape that. And so kudos to you. It's an amazing transformation, and it only can be done in live surgery, because that's where the rubber meets the road. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Long-term result in these procedures?
Well, of course, there's no level 3 evidence to support that. There's some emerging evidence, actually the Chinese have published, that fat grafting deep lasts longer, and that's just been my level 5 observation, that the amount of deep fat that I put in, that's why I rarely overcorrect by putting too much deep fat, except in males and redos and in massive weight loss patients. But deep malar fat placement lasts a long time. I can't tell you how long. The superficial fat, probably half of it goes away in a year, but the deep malar fat, look at that, that case after case was that of showing in 6 to 8 years, it lasts a long time, and it's not just the SMAS. The other thing that's missing that we didn't talk about.
So I always ask them this, even though I know exactly what they want, because when they come to the operating room, I want to make sure that when they go to sleep, that I'm doing those.
Many times you have to tell them what you can't do, especially revision orthodontics. And how do you recognize these unhappy and dissatisfied patients? That's the real problem. And then how do you communicate that to the patient? And hopefully you can communicate that to the patient pre-op so you don't operate on them. You're far better off getting the bad review about saying Dr. Rohrich didn't operate on me, he was not nice to me, versus all the other things that come with operating on them. Because once you touch their skin with the 15 blade tag, you're it. So let me just show you some of
Maybe we can go. Yeah, let's see. We can go.
Okay, we're so happy to be live in Miami, the aesthetic meeting. And Vern, great to see you.
Nice seeing you too.
We're all vaccinated, okay? Microns, rocks, and how's the meeting?
Meeting's going great. I'm glad to be back again.
Yeah. Well, we're all glad to be back. So glad. We see all of our great friends. We see Roy, Kim, you, all of our great friends, and amazing instruments.
Thank you.
One thing that stood out the most during their training with us. One thing. And I know there's a lot of them. I know. Just a minute. It's like, oh my God. So there's the one thing, and then we'll just we'll close with that. But I remember we used to do that a lot with Gunter and when Sheen was around, and some of it actually was not, it was more than R-rated. But this is going to be
So feel free.
This is going to be very VP. So anyway.
So probably 6 weeks had gone by, and every day was an amazing time, and I felt like I was the king of the world. And Dr. Rohrich had assigned me some amazing projects and some great papers, and I remember I had stayed up late over the weekend, both nights.
10 p.m.
That's late for you. I said a draft.
These were 1 minute stories.
I know. Sorry. Okay.
His whole training is over.
Sorry. So I sent in the papers, and Dr. Rohrich read them, and I was ready to get some feedback on Monday. So Monday comes, and Dr. Rohrich is like a tornado. He is ripping everyone apart, all of us. And we were just sitting there thought we were gonna have a nice cup of coffee. Definitely not. I told him writing was just style, and I needed to not write like I needed to write like I knew what I was talking about. And so I went back and I made the revisions. I was focused on making myself better, and Dr. Rohrich knew that, towards the end of rotation, he saw I was kind of hard on myself, and he told me one thing that I'll never forget. He told me that I shouldn't be so hard on myself because the rest of the world will be. And so I have taken that with me from then on, and all is good. We got the paper, submitted, waiting for acceptance.
Is that Rod would do this, like when the residents came in, especially the general surgery, they don't teach you how to operate in general surgery. So that they'd be, your movements are too big, they're too big. And then he'd take the mark and it'd be like, my box, your box.
Oh, yes.
But I think we've learned so much from Rod over the years, and been really privileged to have his mentorship and friendship. But very few of us have taught him something. And I've taught Rod 2 things for sure that I know of. One being labiaplasty.
That's true.
And the other being social media. So he's a
Oh.
social media.
Oh.
The history, ground zero social media for Rod is when I was a chief, we were in the operating room, 2009. So there was no social media presence. You won't find him before 2009.
2009, yeah.
And we're in the operating room, and the girls like Goldie and Carolyn were talking. Oh, they're on Facebook like this. And I'm just quiet, doing stuff that residents do. And he's like, oh, those cowboys trying to. What? Oh, we're on Facebook. And he's like, what about you, Jamal? Are you on my face page? And I said, well, actually, Dr. Rohrich, I have a Facebook page because I think it's really good to connect, and we could do this thing with the department. And then how he's always like, the light bulb goes on, he's like, oh yeah, okay, good. Okay, let's go. And after that, he's the most prolific person on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Everything.
It's out of control.
He's like, I only have 20,000. Oh, I have 21.
It's been so much fun, and I think, personally, I gotta say, we're really privileged to go through the program when we went through. I see people all the time now, through especially the Aesthetic Society. It's generational, you can find any person that went through UT within almost a 3-decade period. And right away it's like, hey, you're at UT, and it's like, you're in, right? It's a family, it's a big thing. You meet people, you kind of know them because you've seen their picture on the wall at some point. So you meet people, and it's been a great thing. It's really, it's a big family, and people who come here, people who have trained with you are very fortunate to have that honor and that privilege.